Mr. Chairman.
And a brilliant lead up to Senator Rounds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Listening to Senator King's poem, I wondered if it was a hallucination on the part of ChatGPT at that point as they kindly talked about our committee, and I'm wondering if it would have been a different poem if it would have been a House member requesting that type of a message on a Senate committee. Dr. Jensen, I want to begin just with a question to you about our current state of play. Loitering munitions. I'm thinking back to the Nagorno-Karabakh war between Armenia and Azerbaijan, September of 2020. Azerbaijan was very, very successful in a very short time period using loitering munitions to literally identify using AI, actually an Israeli drone system that was there in the marketplace. They could buy it. Can you talk a little bit about just how widely spread and how difficult the battlefield situations are right now with regard to the use of AI?
No, I'm going to try to be short because I could talk to you about this all day, Senator. I think actually Ukrainian President Zelensky summed it up best when he said it's trench warfare with drones. And so one of the reasons this spreads is because really cost matters. So if I can get low cost ability to actually move a munition closer to its intended target with a good circular air probability to strike, I'm going to do it. That's just human instincts. If we're in a fight, you got to win. And why I think you're going to see something really interesting on the horizon and why we need to get our house order in the United States is that the only way to make that work is if you allow people to actually tailor their model from the bottom up. You've actually seen this in Ukraine where nonprofits and tech workers have been able to actually train imagery recognition on the fly. If they would have waited for a standard US government certified algorithm and piece of equipment, it would not look the same. Right? So they're able to actually take all that drone footage, quickly retrain their model in the battlefield, and then re-vector the attack. And that's why, honestly, we're going to have to be honest about how expensive this is going to be. The intelligence collection cost to get a picture of every tank at every time of day, at every angle, just so you reduce the risk, means you are now going to have constant collection going on to train that model. And if you don't have the people who know how to use it and interpret it, you're going to have the training and calibration up at such a high level that the bureaucratic time to use will not be there.
But the point being, it exists today.
Absolutely.
The cat's out of the bag. And our adversaries or other countries are utilizing it today, and the United States is probably in a position to use it today as well.
We are in a position to use it, and in the best of American tradition, let's scale it and do it better and more just than the other guy.
Dr. LeCun, Europe has developed a model right now, or at least they're in the process through their European Parliament, developed a model to regulate AI. They've identified high-risk categories along with two other categories of lesser risk. Have you had an opportunity to look at that, and what is your thought about the approach they're taking in terms of trying to regulate AI based on that approach?
Senator, there are principles that are in that bill that are probably a good idea, although I don't know the details, frankly. I think the startup and industry community in Europe has been quite unified in opposing that regulation. Not because of the points that you're making, which I think are probably good ones, but because of the details of the regulation. And, frankly, my knowledge of it is too superficial to make more comments about it.
Very good. Dr. Ding, I'm just curious. Weapon systems on call today, as indicated earlier in the conversations, right now we have our weapon systems that once they're armed, whether it be on one of our ships, near our coastlines and so forth, once we've armed a weapon system and they can identify an incoming as being a threat, we currently utilize that because in some cases there is no way a human could make the decision as quickly as that machine could. Is it fair to say that not just us, but our adversaries are also using that same weapon system and it's being incorporated on the battlefield today?
Oh, wow. I think my mic has been on the whole time, so sorry if there's been any extra sound. I think I'll defer mostly to Dr. Jensen's answer to this. I think my slightly different take is, like, loitering munitions, to the best of my knowledge, are not using cutting-edge deep learning, like deep learning advances that Dr. LeCun is talking about. So I guess it's AI if you define the term very, very loosely, but like the algorithms that are underlying the fundamental breakthroughs in the civilian AI space today, to the best of my knowledge, are not being deployed at scale in any military, whether it be the US or any other leading militaries. And I think that speaks to these technologies take a very long time to diffuse and become adopted throughout different militaries. So I guess the optimistic view from that is we do have time to hopefully figure some of these things out. That might be a different view than you hold or others in this room hold, though.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and